Sounds like the book all over again, isn't it?
It was.
This is the book.
But actually, this isn't in the book.
This should be in the book.
I forgot.
You didn't put that in the book? You being topless and me not noticing because I'm so obsessed with Alan?
Stop.
I know I have to put it in, Paul, but it's I can't even remember
funny.
where it happened.
I thought it was
Just put it right at the beginning of Harbin.
Right.
Because that's not where it belongs. Because you guys didn't show. When I showed up in Harbin, you guys weren't there.
Oh yeah, why weren't we there again?
I don't know.
We had a workshop or something, right?
I think you had to choose between the 5-day and the 10-day because from maybe financial issues or I don't know.
I don't know. No, I think we were coming up from another workshop. No. But we also thought it would be a test for you to be there on your own.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. Didn't we, Paula?
9/11 Shaman wants to make a bunch of action figures for all of us, and yours is going to have the ability to take off the shoes. He goes, put your shoes on, Alan, when you did the interview with
put your shoes on
with Carl
Pearson. I didn't want to put my shoes on your thing.
Yeah,
how about I just hold it like this? Is that okay?
Just hold it like this.
I was talking to Carl Pearson. That's because he's my lawyer.
You're sitting there with no.
I lost my jacket in that deal.
Nice and professional, and then there's like no shoes. That's what he loves about public access.
When was this?
We had this great opportunity with Carl Pearson, so I said, what about PayPal? PayPal got brought up.
No, when I got ripped off from PayPal.
Yeah.
You got ripped off from PayPal?
Yeah, I delivered my computer, and then they reversed the charges. Didn't they, Carl?
That one.
Yeah, and people...
They reversed the charges?
Well, they
said the money's in the account, the guy took the computer, and then Alan was, what they call up a couple hours later and said, oh, by the way...
The money's not in the account.
Yeah, sorry.
I said, well, where's my computer? And I emailed
sorry,
the guy.
Charlie.
The guy disappeared. He looked like he stole someone else's PayPal account and then turned himself in and reversed the charges and got the computer.
But what's so funny is that this time of instant communication, why can't, an account instantly be debited?
It should have been. That's what
I thought.
And
then instantly credited.
It's Bruce's. I thought Bruce. That's what I assumed. As soon as the money's in the account, it's yours.
I know. That's why
I said, Bruce, get the money out of the account before I give. And Bruce said, it's okay. The money's in the account.
Oh, get the money out of the account.
Right. I wanted the check.
Before you send the computer, you get the cash.
Then again, of course, the other side is true. You can get the cash and not send the product. That's the other side.
Oh, that's true.
So I guess.
And then you get a bad rating on eBay.
Right.
Yeah, but
it's a good thing we aren't riding our bikes.
Well, this is why I wanted to do bit by bit.
Why?
I wanted to do bit by bit because it's a small family-run business and it's not like PayPal.
You're only dealing with family dysfunction as opposed to
my family's
corporate
not dysfunctional.
And
no?
NSA and all.
No, they're perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal?
Perfectly normal.
I think I want to talk to your brother about this because I wouldn't say that he would think you were perfectly normal.
Well, not me, but the rest of the family.
Anyway, the point is a lot of my bad press is that bit by bit is supposed to be some.
Where did they get that?
It's not a 501c3. It's just.
It's not a 501c3. It's a business.
Yeah.
No one said
just like a bank, and
not just like a bank. Just like everything else out there.
You had to secure it. You had to buy a certificate to secure it, and the first certificate was $50. So I thought, let's just do it for all of bit by bit, and then maybe they want to use
all of bit by bit.
Set up an account to where you can press your credit card, and then it will go in. So I didn't have it specifically from Concordia because I think it would still have to go through his.
Oh, well, that's the problem. You're false advertising. You're saying it's a non-profit, and then you're sending it through a profit.
That's not that.
No, you still have to go.
If she sent it through PayPal, it would still be a.
You could set up your own merchant account, Paula.
No, but I know, but I just thought for $50, maybe he can use it, at the same time. But I mean, even if I had it for Concordia, it would still go through him.
No, you should.
And it's still not going to go wired. It doesn't get wired right into your account.
You go right across if you want.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to go over at Central Park. So.
Okay. We should stop by Zachary's place.
That was about a little over 25 years ago. I was doing an Army mission with helicopters up northern Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one break down, and I'm a helicopter mechanic. I'm a medicine man, but I'm a helicopter mechanic. And so what happened was I found some beautiful stone on the ground. So I figured I'd mine it, all right, for jewelry. It took me several years to get. It's on private property. It took me several years to find it and get it and mine it out. So I started making jewelry. Figured it was a great thing. It was turquoise, malachite, chrysocolla, and silver. And I thought, well, this is great. Sell some jewelry, make some money. Boy, little did I know all the plans he had for me. So people started wearing his jewelry, and they started getting better with all kinds of things. Mostly pain, some tumors. And at first I thought it was all in their heads, you know. I used to think, they're just thinking they're getting better, right? Well, then I got too many of them. I mean, a whole mess of people saying they're getting better, loads of them. So then I had to find out what was going on. So what I did is I took the stone to the laboratories. Then I had them break it down into elements. And so what I did is I took each element and I looked on the medical history of it, tried to find out everything about it. Then I found I had thorium in it. It's very little, but it was radioactive. So then I took it to Rocky Mountain Arsenal. It's a government facility, and I had them check it for radiation. And they told me it was slightly radioactive. And then I was worried. Because everybody hears about radiation, and they get scared. You hear the word radiation. And one doctor told me I need to change the name of this from radiation hormesis to something else.
I agree.
No, because if I do that, what happens is you can't research it.
Right.
You can't find it and get any information on it.
Right.
So I told him, no, I got to keep it exactly what it is so people can find it. All right? Because, see, we're all sheep. I mean, what they say, radon is bad for you, it causes cancer, or these things are all wrong. They're all so wrong. We're just sheep.
Radon's not bad for you?
They just had a survey came out, a good study came out. People who have radon in their houses have this is a big number medically, 60% less chance of getting lung cancer.
Wow.
60% less. That actually goes along with... Yeah.
You do?
Yeah,
You-
That
Really? No wonder you're looking so good.
Well, actually, I mean, that goes along with everything that I've been studying. Now, see, what I'm doing isn't new. So what I did is I found out that we have a long history on this. I have a whole room full of antiques from the 1910s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. I've got big water crocks that are lined with uranium ore, okay? High-grade stuff, I mean, it puts out a lot of energy. They've been using pads on people back then. I've got ads from papers from back then.
Back when?
1910s, 20s, 30s.
1910, 20.
This here is an article from making artificial radium baths in drinking water, June 4th, 1910. I got a whole room full of stuff like this.
We used to think they were just ignorant then.
No, they were smart. Look, this goes back to Egyptian times, Roman times.
What made you, what made you think that they were different?
That
I mean, when you how did you even decide to have them analyzed? What made you?
because something was going on there. Why are all these people getting better? There has to be something going on because there was just too many. And so what I did is I took some rocks to some doctors. I'd walk into a doctor's office, and I with a rock in my hand say, "Hey, guess what? You know how many doctor's offices I got thrown out of? Okay, but I found a few that would work with me. I say, work with this with your patients. I want to see, because it's been helping people, and they did. The few that I did, they would. And the results they were getting were phenomenal. Okay, I mean, they were like, I can't believe what's going on here. So, like I say, I found out it was the radiation, and found out the history on it. The history is incredible.
What's the history of radiation?
Okay, now if you go back to look up, Google on radon therapy and spas, Europe. Okay, they've had radon spas there for centuries. Centuries.
Just the thrust.
Radon spas where? Sorry, I was...
What's that?
Where are the radon spas?
In Europe. The People's Republic of
My patient called me 10 years ago. She was in,
Oh, there's one in Russia?
and I think she was in
Hungary?
Czechoslovakia. And she had cancer, and she called me and said, they're telling me to go into this radon cave. Should I do this, Jane? And I said, I don't know. All I know about radon is that you got to pay money to get out of your basement.
Yeah.
And so that was the first I heard about anybody thinking.
Yeah.
So you said you're a patient. Are you a doctor?
I'm a psychoanalyst, but I specialize in cancer.
Oh, I see.
See, now what's happened is with these people, they were taking, actually the one in Czechoslovakia used to be, it was first built as waters were healing people that had radon in the water. So they actually were taking the pools, and you could go to a pool depending on what kind of cancer you had, okay?
Wow.
Yes, and if you look at it on the internet, it's like a palace. In fact, I'm putting together and building one here in southern Colorado.
I heard.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Because I got people going to Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Asia, to get better, spending tens of thousands of dollars when we can do it a lot cheaper and better here. So I'm buying this old little town to set it up for this. It's going to be really cool. Got this big hotel. But,
Well, then why didn't this develop? This is 1910. What?
yes.
What?
Okay, what happened in the 1940s, here's exactly what happened. We had a couple, people started abusing it, okay? That's why I don't sell the stuff on the website. People were abusing. What happened was people were, when you find a good thing, we want more, okay? So people were actually putting straight radium in their bodies, okay? In other words, you have something that's got that much energy and it's constantly putting out energy. You're going to destroy cells. You're not going to fix them, okay? They had two big cases. One was a guy where his jaw fell off because he was drinking straight 14, 15 bottles of radium a day. Okay. Then they had, another a case where they had the women who painted the dials on the glow on the watches. What they do is they take to paint the glow radium on the watches. They'd sit there and they'd lick it and they put it on there. And they had 3 women in that company, they got leukemia. They OD'd on it more or less, and they died. But if you followed the other 1,600 women that worked there, they lived for a long time. Their cancer rates were next to nil. That's proven straight out. I'll give you some quick stories.
And the same with people that bought the clocks? Is there any effect from having bought a clock?
Too low dose. It's too low dose, okay. Here's some. Unfortunately, a lot in history is accidents, but what's happened when they set off the Trinity A bomb? Okay, there was a herd of cattle nearby. Okay, they got a large amount of radiation. Nobody would touch them. They were scared of them. Okay, so you figure they're 7, 8, 9 years old at the time. Do you know 18 years later they started slowly euthanizing all these cattle? You know why? Because they just weren't dying. They just weren't dying. They set off the bomb at Bikini Beach, okay? 20 years later, after they set the bomb off there, our government put together a report called the Beer Report, the Biological Effects of Irradiation. They wanted to find out how many of these Japanese fishermen died of cancer because of the radiation they got from the bomb, okay? But right on the report it says, but as of this date, nobody's died, okay?
And what year was this?
When they set off the bomb in Bikini,
No, but when they did the report.
20 years later. 20 years later.
So how close were they, Jay, to this explosion?
They're going to have to get a large amount, but see, that's the thing. Even when they set
It's a function of the distance?
Right, see, it's like when they set the bombs off in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
See, after those 2 cases, and then we had Nagasaki and Hiroshima, everybody became radiophobic, and we dropped the ball of a healing modality that's unequaled. In fact, it's because of radiation we have life. That's the essence of life.
But we do use radiation for cancer.
Yeah, but we use it in the wrong way, okay? In fact, a lot of people, there's a 50-50 chance when they get the radiation that it's going to destroy their blood marrow, and then they stop producing white blood cells. Then they get pneumonia, die. Okay, it's the radiation that did it. They're using massive amounts, okay? They're using radiation to destroy. We're not using radiation to destroy, okay?
I'm using it too.
Here's how it works, okay? If you do the research on radiation hormesis, okay? Well, let's backtrack a little bit on this, okay? What happened was I found out the greenstone I was mining in Wyoming was low-dose radiation helping people, okay? So then I worked with this guy out of Bogota, Colombia, and he sent me some hotter stones. So what we do is I'd go ahead and we'd increase the level. It's a very low level to people to where it'd start overwhelming them, back it off. So I was strong enough to get a response, not too strong to where it overwhelmed the immune system, okay?
How do you know when it's overwhelming?
They would start getting nauseous. They'd start getting too many headaches. and it wouldn't calm down after a few days. Okay.
How do you increase make them hotter?
Okay, there's several ways you can do this. Like with the mud. The mud's perfect. The pads you make with that. What happens is I can take the mud and I can add hotter material to it.
What's hotter material?
Hotter material, when I speak about hotter stone or hotter material, means it's putting out more energy.
More radiation.
You betcha. All right, and we'll bring out a detector here and show you. Okay. But I can measure everything digitally. I mean, within 0.0 whatever I want. Okay. I'll give you an example. From the sun here at this altitude, we probably get about, here in New York, about 260, maybe 280 millirems per year from the sun here. Okay. A lethal one-time shot dose of X-ray radiation, okay, from the doctor is 600,000 millirems. Okay. I want people to get between 40 and 60,000 a year. Okay. Now remember, a one-time shot 600,000. If you had to spread it out over a year, you're going to get sick. That's too much. Okay. But it's not going to kill you. All right. You can survive that. Here's what they're saying. If you do present-day research on it, what happens is they're saying that the radiation goes into your body and it slightly damages your cells and DNA. It's kind of like working out. When you're working out, you're damaging your cells and DNA, okay? When that happens, your cells and DNA, they excrete a protein, okay? That's the basis of how your immune system works, all right? And that's important. Remember that it excretes a protein, and we'll go back to that. So they're saying by doing that, we're stimulating, making stronger, and activating your immune system because your cells and DNA are in a constant state of repair and duplication. That's what they do. They're good at it, okay? Well, I thought for many years I was having so much success with cancer because we were building up the immune system, okay? And what was happening is your own body was fighting off the cancer, okay? And I thought that's what was going on for years. Well, here's what happened. I had a lady who had been bedridden for 17 years. She had aspergillus, okay? Straight out fungus, all right? She was on oxygen 24 hours a day. She was in so much pain, morphine wasn't taking away the pain. In bed 17 years. She was lethargic. They had to put her in a wheelchair, take her to the doctor. Last time she saw the doctor, he said, this is as good as it gets. And he'd been her doctor for 20 years. Okay.
Just a second. You said aspergillus?
Aspergillus.
As if people know. What is aspergillus?
Aspergillus is fungus. It's straight out fungus. There's actually a lot of it around the country. Aspergillus is fungus in the body.
I thought that was candida.
So is candida's a yeast. It's different.
Oh.
Okay. It's a parasite. Kind of like Lyme's disease is a parasite in the body.
I see.
Okay. Aspergillus, they have foundations for aspergillus. All right, it's rampant around the country.
They found what for aspergillus?
They have foundations.
Foundations.
For aspergillus, okay. So it's straight fungus in her body that's making this. Plus she has a list of other things, COPD, all kinds of other things. But her main problem is aspergillus, which is fungus, okay. So she was getting ready and she was about going into a grand mal seizure, okay, which she used to go into seizures all the time. Well, what happened was, as the lady was helping take care of her, grabbed one of these stones that someone had dropped by her house. You know, when you're sick, everybody brings you everything. You know, you get all kinds of stuff. She had it on the table. Well, one of these ladies grabbed that stone when she was going into a seizure, put it on the back of her neck, and it stopped the seizure like that. It was incredible. They called me up, and there was a whole bunch of women in this room, and they're all crying because they hadn't seen anything like that before. So I worked with her and got her some more stuff over the next 3 weeks. When she went into her doctor's office to get a physical the next time, he walked in the office and she was standing up, not on oxygen, off pain medicine. Sat there, put her hand out and said, "Hi, doc, how you doing?" Okay. She didn't get her physical. He just stood there for 20 minutes with his mouth open. Okay. You know, I treat him and his wife now. Okay. So, in other words, we knocked out the fungus in her body. So then right after that, then I get a woman doctor in Pennsylvania. She has a Mennonite woman there. She's got breast cancer. It's the size of your palm, twice as thick. They sent her home to die. She's not going to take any chemo or radiation because of her faith. Doctor tells me, he says, "Jay, it's seeping and it smells really bad. If you can smell it, it's fungus, okay? I mean, they have dogs now you can see on TV where they can smell cancer, okay? If you can smell it, it's a fungus. She wanted to use an escharotic on it. An escharotic, I don't know if you ever heard black salve. It's bloodroot and zinc chloride. Very painful, pulls out stuff, and it's not really that successful, okay? It leaves a lot of scarring.
Big gaping holes.
You bet. Nasty stuff. And she kind of wanted to use it on this lady, but she said that she was in such a fragile state of mind that she couldn't bear that kind of pain. Well, I saw what just happened to the woman with the aspergillus, okay? So what happens then is I says, well, no, let's do this. Let's send her a hot stone, meaning putting out high radiation. Not enough to ever hurt her, but enough to get a response. I sent her a hot stone. They put it on the tumor. In 24 hours, it stopped seeping, was healing over. The smell was about gone. In 2 weeks, the tumor was gone. Okay, so what happens is, guess what? Here, cancer is a fungus. There's books about it and stuff, but I mean, I've seen it myself.
I saw Dr. Simon. Yeah, he's got the little cameras that go down and explore around.
Yeah.
You see, because every tumor will have these white spots, and he uses baking soda as an antifungal. But
yeah, and he's actually there's a book out, Cancer is a Fungus.
Yeah.
Okay, well, actually, so is every other disease I deal with. MS, Hashimoto's,
well, that would make sense, because if you go in a forest, you know, when trees go down, they decompose.
What's happening is this fungus is in your body. It's eating dead tissue, okay? Like with you. We're eating dead tissue, and it's excreting or going to the bathroom mycotoxins, which is poison, okay? The poison, the mycotoxin, is what cancer is, okay? It's poisoning healthy cells. That's how it's growing. Because actually when it's killing healthy cells, guess what? It's making more food for itself. That's like where you hear someone that got into a car accident, okay? So then they found out they've got cancer. What happened? They had dead tissue in their body. The fungus in their body went there to eat. They have cancer, okay?
No, can you say that more slowly?
Okay, if you have dead tissue in your body, if someone say has an injury or a surgery, okay? And then they say, well, they found out they had cancer later on. What happened is when they injure themselves, let's say, then they had dead tissue there. The fungus in the body came there to eat, okay? Started dropping mycotoxins. Now they say they have cancer.
So you're saying the mycotoxins are not getting flushed out fast enough, that the fungus is doing its job?
You always have fungus in your body, okay? Everybody except me. I'm so radioactive, it's incredible. Oh yeah, I don't have to use a nightlight for the restroom in the evening or whatever, okay? But,
so if we touch you?
Oh, you betcha, baby. Okay, so.
You'll be healed.
Sure. Wow. I was in a mine about a month ago, and it was blowing out so much radon gas, my shirt was 23 millirounds. My skin was 10 for about 3 hours. Incredible. Kind of scared the guys, but I didn't let them get scared. But it wears off really quick, and we're used to it. No, with everybody's got fungus in your body, okay? Your body's constantly fighting off the fungus in your body, okay? It's also constantly repairing the damage that those mycotoxins have done. But now once your body, if it ever gets to a point where it falls behind that curve, right, you're going to lose, all right?
Behind the curve of scavenging for the dead cells that the fungus is doing, or behind the curve for taking care of the mycotoxins?
Both. You're going to get behind the curve of staying ahead of the fungus and the destruction the mycotoxins are doing, okay? In other words, your immune system can't keep up with fighting off the fungus and fixing the damage.
So the fungus is not eating the mycotoxins. The mycotoxins are creating more dead cells.
So that the fungus can eat more. See? Vicious cycle.
Right.
Okay. All right? Yeah. So, here's what was happening then between those two cases I found out. Remember how I said how the radiation comes in and it slightly damages your cells and DNA? Okay? And what it does is they duplicate and repair themselves. It's actually doing the exact same thing to the cells of the fungus. But they can't repair themselves as fast like the human cell can. They die, okay? So in other words, like people who start out have let's say a lot of candida or bad cancer. I start them on this for the first 3 or 4 days, they're going to get a response from their body. Because when you kill anything, a mouse, a bird, a human, I don't care what, it's going to excrete, okay? So as we're killing off the fungus, what's going to happen is it's going to drop more poison in the body than normal. They might get a feeling in their lymph nodes, okay? Don't let them take lymph nodes out, even if they find cancer there, because they're poison catchers. That's what they do. All right? These people...
poison catchers, mycotoxin catchers?
Your lymph nodes are what catches your poisons in your body.
Micro or macro toxins?
Myco. Yeah, it's mycotoxins. And what happens...
not micro, myco?
Myco.
What is that?
M-Y-C-O. It's poison. That's what it means, poison.
I have pain under my left arm from time to time, and it's quite...
Yes, from the poison,
intense,
see?
yeah.
So what happens is, like, you have a lady who has cancer, they found they have her lymph node, they took out her lymph node, then I get this out of her body and come to find out she's got edema in her arm because they took out her lymph node, the poison had no place to go. Okay? Don't let them take out your lymph nodes. Oh yeah, and I work with a lot of people that, just a couple weeks to live. Turn them around.
I understand that there's a lead lymph node. I read an article about breast cancer, and they said they don't allow the biopsy going all over, just go for the lead lymph node. And if that's not cancerous, then you're okay.
Well, what they're saying is, you remember, when your lymph nodes are catching poison, they're catching also the cells that have been poisoned, the healthy cells have been poisoned, and that's what they're calling a mutant cell, which is cancer. So I see it's there and I say it's already in your lymph nodes. No, that's where it should have went in the first place, okay?
So it's misleading.
Oh, yeah, they scare you for no reason.
Exactly.
Honestly, I get about 5 cancer patients a day. I'm a helicopter mechanic. I'm a medicine man, but I get 5 cancer patients at least a day. On top of them, well, you heard me talking last night. I got a brain cancer, a breast cancer, and a pancreatic cancer, just while I was here.
Eating dinner.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
many of those people get healed from of all the cancer patients that you work with? What percentage actually kind of respond to your therapy?
Out of, I would say by now we're getting close to 1,500 people. I've lost 19. You give me an oncologist who's got that record.
Speaking of oncologists, what does the AMA say about this?
They can't touch me.
How come?
People look at me and they say, aren't you scared of the FDA or the AMA coming after you? Well, bring it on. No, you know what I say? I usually say, yeah, you're right, I'm scared, I quit. And they're like, and then they start laughing at me, and I'm like, what did you want me to say? This would be a sin if I didn't do this. I'm a medicine man. The real thing. I'm carded, everything, okay, papered.
So you're saying that other doctors have just been intimidated for no reason?
Doctors can't practice this. It's not protocol. It's illegal for them.
But you can be a medicine man?
Yes.
What does it mean to be a medicine
Are you Native American Indian?
Here's what happened. I'm a quarter Cherokee Choctaw. But years ago, all right.
You can gamble and be a medicine man.
Sure, why not? I gamble every day of my life.
Or you become a minister, you can do it.
So what happened? Tell us what happened.
Well, what happened was I had this tribe in Utah,
Uh-huh.
and they had some sick people. And I didn't realize how important this would be until later on. God sets these things up. Remember, I'm just a messenger. Well, what happens is I help these people in Utah, and they liked what I did. They adopted me. They legally, through their system, adopted me and labeled me a medicine man, which means I am covered under NAFERA, which is the Native American Free Exercise of Religion Act. It's a congressional act. 1993. There's a federal judge who's a medicine man, and he'll tell you, as long as you're using stones, plants, or feathers, they can't touch you. Because if they go after me, you're going to piss off the whole Indian nation, and you don't want to do that. Okay? So, well, yeah, seriously.
Plants, feathers, and stuff.
Some days I wish it was feathers. Especially last weekend, okay? So, here's what's happening with other diseases, okay? With other diseases, let's take MS. MS, they'll say statistically wise that 90% of the people that have MS have candida. Candida is yeast, okay, in the body, all right, and which is a fungus, okay, straight out.
Yeast is a type of fungus.
You bet it is, all right. So it's eating, dropping down poisons, destroying their neurological system, okay. So what happens is we can stop by killing the fungus in the body. We can go ahead and stop the progression fairly quick within like 3-4 months, okay? But remember, unlike somebody who's had, let's say, liver cancer, you might have liver cancer and you'd never know it. So we can go ahead and we can get rid of the cancer fairly quick, and you just never knew what happened. But people with MS have had, depending on how far advanced they are, have damage. We can stop the progression, but that's where the great thing about radiation and hormesis comes in. Remember I said I used to think that because we stimulated and activated the immune system that it was having your own body get rid of it. Well, we are stimulating and activating the immune system to speed up the healing. I had one woman once in my hangar. Her husband brought her there, and she comes into the hangar in this wheelchair, electric wheelchair. I hadn't been able to use her hands in 15 years or her legs, okay? She comes in the hangar and she starts screaming, "Where's that rock guy at?" Oh yeah, she did. She said, "Where's that rock guy at? I got to see that rock guy." You know, because everything I do is word of mouth. I mean, I work with people all over the world. I mean, I've gone to biomedics and given workshops to their doctors out there from all over the world. So this lady comes in there, "Where's that rock guy?" I started her on it. In a month and a half, she started to move her hands. She's writing letters now. And her legs, she couldn't move her legs, so she got to wake her husband up, you know, in the middle of the night and have him reposition her leg, all right? Well, one night she moved it by herself, woke him up anyway, all right, and had him go get a measuring tape. And everybody in the valley knows she moved her leg 5.5 inches that night. She keeps getting better and better, quicker and quicker. The things they say you can't, that won't heal, they will, all right? If you do the research on let's take like the people that work with this with their eyes, like my pilot, okay? One of my pilots, and a lot of other people have used this on their eyes. You're talking about degeneration, okay, in the eyes, soft cell tissue. Okay?
You mean macular degeneration?
You betcha.
It helps macular degeneration?
Oh yeah, because here's what's going on, okay? The mycotoxins in the body have been destroying the soft cell tissue in your eyes, okay? Now remember, eyes are the slowest healing organ in your body, all right? But it can be done if you're persistent, like my pilots are. They know they're flying today because they use these stones. You get into the helicopter with them, they got one strapped to their neck. They know without it they wouldn't be flying. They're in their late 60s. What happens is if we can stop the poisons in your body, we stop the degeneration of the soft cell tissue, and then guess what? They already proved straight out, and you can Google this on radiation hormesis and anti-aging, to where the radiation hormesis will promote the rejuvenation of soft cell tissue. It's kind of like arthritis. Get arthritis, what it is, the poisons are going in through your joints. It's deteriorating the soft cell tissue in your joints. So if we can stop that and then rejuvenate the soft cell tissue in your joints, that's why the pain was going away. Okay. I had 2-3 weeks ago, I had a lady who had her disc going on her back. Then she had a fourth explode, they said. Put her in a body cast, okay. They were waiting for the inflammation to go down so they could put a rod in her spine. All right. I got the email. It's great. Her mother her mother loves me for this. What happened was, is in her body cast, they stuck one of these mud packs down her back or in her body cast. A month later, she went in there, he took her body cast off, doctor brought it out and said, "What's this?" She says, "Well, it helps me with the pain." Well, they x-rayed her back. She didn't get the surgery. They sent her to rehab, okay, to start working her back, okay, because her soft cell tissue in her spine was growing back. All right. Happens all the time with the eyes. My pilots could barely see or read the charts. Now they don't even need glasses, okay. It's taken them a couple years.
Do you pick specific stones for specific people for specific conditions?
Now it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be that difficult, and I'll explain that. Okay. What I did is I mined 2 different stones, okay? A kit will usually help about everybody. I mean, there's a man on the internet named Vinny Pinto. He runs all these discussion groups on the internet, and he has one just on radiation hormesis. Hormesis is a Greek word that means to excite. Okay.
How do you spell it, hormesis?
Hormesis.
Is it where hormone comes from? No.
No. Now, what I did is I came up with a kit for people. Okay. Now, the only thing I do different for everybody. Now, by the way, the Vinnie Pintos people, they research this a lot. They know it very well. Probably some of them may know it better than I do, but they're all healthy. See, all these people are healthy from all over the world, from Norway, Budapest, everywhere. Well, what happens is these people, they want to live longer, healthier lives. They don't want cancer or MS to pop up in their lives, okay? I send them a kit and a necklace all over the world. They just have, because they want to live longer, healthier, normal lives. Okay, that's the goal, a normal life. So on these kits, other than I send information and instructions for people, buy me these pads. Okay, now these pads, like I said, I was able to adjust the radiation in them. Okay, I can adjust it wherever I want. I want these between 1 or maybe just a slightly above 2 millirems per hour. Now there's different increments that you can put radiation in. There's PQs, serves, whatever. I like to go by millirems, okay? Easiest one to convert. See, these here are all going to be between 1 and 2 millirems per hour.
What are you doing now?
I'm measuring the radiation with a Geiger counter.
And let me get that.
What
So this has
2 millirems do for somebody? Is that a slow detox?
You bet.
Very slow.
It's very slow. I want people to sleep on this, or if they blew out a knee, let's say. I want you to wrap around your knee. These are awesome. I don't want a full mat over people because I want them to go ahead and work on certain areas. I don't want to put their whole body on a training mission.
But I don't understand though. That machine, the numbers were going up?
Yeah, it's going by millirems per hour.
So you keep accumulating more?
Eventually it's going to stop and level out.
And what do you guess it's going to level out at?
This one will be between, it has to be between 1 and 2.
So now it's 1.085?
So that's
1.12?
Okay, so it'll level out because why? It'll reach the maximum.
Right.
What's the life expectancy of half?
1.5?
Yeah, it does. The half-life's 250,000 years.
So the rest of that, the pad's no good.
Yeah.
No, it's only half as good.
I'll give you another one for free.
Well, let me see this stone.
So
This is that major stone.
That's a hot one. That
You got a hot one now?
Yeah, well, I just got it upstairs. Wow. So that's a lot of radiation coming off that, right?
You got it?
No, I was just holding it. It feels intense.
Is that because I was holding it?
It's not going to hurt you. What?
Is that because you were holding it?
No, it's a lot of radiation. It's a lot of radiation. It's not going to hurt you, but what level will start to hurt people?
Well, let's see what here. Let's see if we get something here that'll hurt you.
Well, I don't want to.
Come on, Al.
No, I'm just talking there. It has to be a fine line between.
It acts as a homeopathic.
There's a line between what will. You don't want to overdo it.
Well, sure. Now, that's about, I won't ever go over 30 millirems. And I'll use a stone like that one there for, let's say, a brain tumor, pancreatic cancer, or whatever. This right here this is a high-grade ore.
Wow.
Max that out.
You don't want to use that.
That'll max this out at over 110. It's 170.
Can I see that? Can I see the number there?
That's maxed out.
Oh, the machine doesn't go up any higher.
No.
So you don't want to use that on people because that's too much for them.
Right, because constantly you do it, it's going to go ahead and do more damage than it's going to do good. Okay.
But you're just like so charged. You can handle this.
Well, yeah.
He's only holding for a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm not. If I slip on this overnight, it's probably going to do damage. Okay.
Right. So you find these stones just laying around and you measure?
Well, you have to go and there's kind of a science that you have to go into some of the older mines that were like in the 1940s. You can't go into mines that were built like in the later 60s, even 70s, or even to present day.
Uranium mines, these are.
Uranium mines, because what happens is they use chemicals now to bring out the uranium, and we can't use that.
So this is uranium ore?
It's low-grade uranium ore.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And or you could use thorium. It doesn't matter as long as it's putting out. Here's the difference between your doctor and this. Okay. What happens is your doctor's using X-ray radiation. Okay, and what we're using with natural stones, alpha, beta, and gamma rays. Different. One's man-made, okay, X-rays, and one's the other three are natural, okay.
And what's the noise, right?
Oh, X-ray anything. Yeah, they are.
Fluoroscopes are much worse, I think, than X-rays. That's what they did to me for 10 years.
What's a fluoroscope?
And this is helping me, I think, extract the lethal radiation that's in me.
Well, sure. What happens is it goes ahead and actually people who are going to do, let's say, radiation, you've opted to do radiation in the hospital, okay? What happens is I suggest that you go ahead and you do this first, because if you do the research, you'll find out once you're more acclimated to this, you're going to have an easier time getting a large amount, okay? You'll adapt to it easier.
But you might not even need that radiation.
Well, let's hope not, and it's not going to happen.
That's right.
If you just use the information that's there that I'll get to you, you know, and show you where to go to. Remember, it's your body or your friends or your relative's body. Everything I do here has been proven historically, scientifically. I got present day case history. It's got doctors walking in circles. Which reminds me, I've got before we go back to the kit, I had an oncologist in Denver, all right? And they did a half-page article on him in the Rocky Mountain News that says, oncologist feels empathy for cancer patients because he has cancer now, okay? He makes $800 an hour sending people to radiation and chemo, okay? So he gets cancer in his sternum.
But that's not what he did.
No, he's not going to do it because it doesn't work.
He knows.
You know, to this day, he buys me lunch at the airport, and sometimes I want to look at him, and I haven't done this yet, but I want to look at him and say, I didn't lose anybody this month. How many people did you lose? Okay? Yeah.
Wow.
So he sends these people to radiation and chemo, and he's not going to do it. Okay? Well...
You mean he can't cut loose from the 800 an hour?
It really hurts his feelings because he spent all his life in universities and stuff trying to learn how to do this, and then a helicopter mechanic comes along, shows him there's a better way, and fixes him. Okay?
Well, that's just...
Now, here's this guy's MRIs. Why would he give them to me? You know?
Why would he give them to you?
Here he is with his cancer, the red here. Here's after. The only thing he used was the stone therapy, and yoga. That's all he used.
Show me closer.
Here's where it's split here.
Just a second.
Where the cancer was, and it's red here. Here's after, where it's back together, and the red's gone.
The sternum was split by the cancer.
Right here. See, it was eating it away.
It was eating it away.
See, here's the half side. You see before, cancer right here, where the red is. See how it's split right there? Here's after. It's back together. And this red's gone.
Let me get this here.
So what happened was, now this guy, he goes ahead, and I get a call once in a while. He has a family member or a friend has cancer. Calls me up, and he says, they got cancer. Can you help them, Jay? They got this kind of cancer. I never made this call. Thanks, buddy. Bye. Can you imagine? How does this guy sleep at night?
Yeah, really.
How? Incredible.
If someone's already gone through a series of radiation treatments, does it matter?
No.
Does it differ?
No, if they've survived it and they didn't get their white blood cell count wiped out, all right?
Well, that's what happened to Peggy. You know, she went through
Well, she went through chemo.
Oh,
yeah.
She did chemo. This woman had ovarian cancer. I don't know if you know what CA-125 is. Do you know a CA-125 for ovarian cancer?
Ovarian cancer.
Right. It's a normal is 35. Okay, to check for ovarian cancer. Hers was 8,700. They put her on chemo. It was getting worse. She's gonna die. Straight out. Got her on this, doing with the chemo. In 12 days, we got it down to 4,100. And then 12 days after that, got it down to 850. Right? And now she's back in normal range. And she quit doing the chemo. All right? In fact, she's a lady that came up and hugged me and kissed me, and
it was awesome.
Yeah, in Phoenix.
You know, she was sobbing. I mean,
it was incredible, huh?
She had never met you, remember?
Yeah.
She had only talked with you on the phone.
Yeah. And then I have a doctor in Southern Colorado. He just had a PSA, prostate cancer. Normal's like 0.2, 0.4, whatever. His was 87. He's got cancer. He's going to die. It was affecting his pancreas. Okay. I mean, he's everybody's doctor down there in this big ranching community, right? And everybody loves him, but he's dying of prostate cancer. I had him take one of these gray stones, like you have.
Like this, I gave it to him.
Yep, stuck it right between his legs, right behind his scrotum. Right?
Not this one.
Not that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. He held it there for, I mean, he didn't let it get out of there for a month and a half.
So he just put it in his pants and just walked around like
You darn right. Anywhere
Would
he
you
had.
repeat that? I mean, that's a critical piece. He let it there. He left it there. I mean,
He
that's
put there
a
right
critical
behind his
piece.
scrotum
A
for
lot of people
a month
forget.
and a half.
They do it for a day or two or three or a week or 2 or 3, and then they think they're supposed to magically be better, and they don't continue.
You did it for a month and a half.
It's my experience.
Now
Yeah.
here, because his was so bad,
Are you ready?
because
for
his
this?
cancer was so bad, he got 2 lemon-sized tumors on the inside of his legs. Okay, remember he's going to die anyway. He's got to do something. He got 2 lemon-sized tumors on the inside of his legs. They burst open eventually. All this green, yellow, brown, smelly cancer stuff just drained out of his body. You know what his PSA is now? He's at a 0.9. From an 87 to a 0.9 in a month and a half. He went through hell, but saved his life.
I think that PSA test is very questionable.
It is. It's only 70% false. It doesn't even measure cancer.
Right.
But if you've got one that's that high, you got cancer.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I can see anywhere like from between a 7 and an 11 to where it'd be false, and then you need to get some better. There's other tests you can take. But when you got one that's 85 or even up 31, I had another guy with 31 in a month. We got it down to a 0.4 without the tumors. Okay. But that high, you got problems. Okay. So.
Can you explain how the PSA test works? What's it measuring?
Well, you can let me do that?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I'll let you know what it is. PSA is actually measuring the level of the liquid that goes into the sperm. Okay.
What kind of liquid?
The prostate. It's the jelly-like substance inside the sperm that holds the sperm together.
Semen.
Seminal fluid.
Well, yes.
So it's measuring, but what in semen is it measuring?
It's the needle fluid. What's
What gives you
measuring in the fluid though?
What gives you a high mark? What gives you a low mark?
They're measuring the fluid, but what's in the fluid that they're measuring? How much fluid or what?
No, it's not how much fluid. And I can't remember. It's a marker, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the marker on the amount that's present. Okay.
The amount of cancer?
No, it's not cancer. Okay, because they're not counting cancer.
Protein.
Protein, that's what it is. Yeah. So, but now but let's go to another cancer, so you can get me off that subject. Okay. let's talk about a comfortable one. Breast cancer. Okay, now here's what happens.
For you.
Here's what happens with breast cancer and how radiation hormesis works. Okay, and I've seen this so many times. Breast cancer is easy. What happens is, a woman, let's say she calls in and says she has a mass, and whether she's going by a PET scan, MRI, or whatever, I don't care. Okay, so she's got a mass. What happens is in the first week and a half, let's say they do another scan on it. Okay. The mass is going to be just a hair bigger. Usually, normally it's a hair bigger. Remember, you're aggravating the fungus, you're killing it, okay? Then what's going to happen is it gets smaller, and it's smaller. And like about 3 months, lady will call me up, happens all the time, and say, hey, it's been 3 months. Last month I took one. It was smaller. Didn't do anything, but we just took one. It's been 3 months now. I took it and it hasn't changed a bit, Jay. Well, you know what happened? It's not cancer anymore. You created, when we used the stones with her in the necklace, and we'll go over that, we created an environment to where the cancer can't survive. In other words, all she has left is scar tissue. That's it. I mean, so we can get them set up like with an MAS test. I love using an MAS test. It sees if there's cancer in your body. All right. But I love doing the mass test, and they get the results because you can't argue with it because they see a mass. Or one lady, she had the scar tissue there. She was still scared. She got a lumpectomy anyway, and guess what they found? Nothing. So what I do is I have women who are going through this give her a call. All right, so that they'll know what's going on. So she's taught them like, hey, if they see something there,
it's a support system.
It's just scar tissue. Don't panic, okay? Because I did, and I screwed up. She had a harder time with the lumpectomy than she had anything. Okay.
Tell them what your stone treatment is, though, for breast cancer.
Actually, the necklaces. Here's what it is.
Super underwire bra.
Yeah. What I did. I used to have women with breast cancer that they'd have to hold a stone, kind of like that gray stone, on tumor all the time, yeah. It was hard for them, all right, to hold it on all the time. So what I did is I made a stronger necklace that they could have right there, All right? And I measure them out. I mean, all the time. I have my guys measure these out. They have to come within a certain amount, a limit, or they can't go out. So I made them for women with breast cancer. Well, what happened is those necklaces were working great for people with lung cancer. They were working great for people with thyroid problems. They were working for people with just their organs in their body. So it just complemented everything. In other words, I had this doctor in Illinois. She used to get a lot of stage 4 cancer patients. And we used to try to figure out what stone we're going to give to this person. You know, or a necklace or a mud pack. And then one day she says, Jay, just quit making mousing around. If you're going to fix a person, you fix the whole person. Which she's right. You've got a cancer somewhere. And I focus on cancer a lot, but I work with a lot of other diseases. I mean, you've got a cancer somewhere, you get rid of it, it's going to come up somewhere else. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of it. You know, people who are cancer-free now, they carry remission on their shoulders. All right? Who wants that? And no. We're going to give you live a long, normal, happy, healthy life. Keep building up your immune system. In other words, like me, I don't lie to anybody about what I am. I'm a helicopter mechanic. I eat McDonald's. I smoke. God doesn't call in the qualified. He qualifies the called. Remember that, okay? I haven't had a cold or an allergy in years. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning and I'm up till working helicopters about 5. And then I'm working with patients and doctors and cutting stone till about 11 o'clock every night. And if I'm not at the mines, I'm out on the weekends like I am here, giving speeches and educating people on how to get themselves better.
How do you have time to be a helicopter mechanic?
I'm the boss.
Oh, it's your company.
No, but I'm the head. I'm the director of maintenance for this company. Yeah. My boss lets me go wherever I need to go. You know why? Because he knows what I'm doing for people, like the owner.
No, I would just think you wouldn't have time to do. Anybody can do that. Not everybody is part Cherokee or whatever that gets that kind of.
Obviously, he's well organized. He can put it together.
Or maybe you just enjoy it, huh?
I love doing the helicopters, but you know, actually, the sad fact of it is because I'm building this wellness center and traveling around it like I do to all these places and mining and let me say next week I'll be in Boulder giving presentations, then Ordway, Colorado, then I'll be going to I'll end up going to there's another place, Phoenix back here, then I'll be going to California.
You're going to White Plains and Connecticut.
Yeah. So unfortunately, because there's so many, I'm the only person in the country that does this.
Yeah, I know, but all these engines, helicopter engines, are backing up, right?
Well, no, so far everything's working great. But I got to go rescue one as soon as I get back, okay? Yeah, really. No, he's in Utah, and they're having problems there, so when I get back, I'll have to fly out and go fix it. But I'm going to have to quit helicopters.
Yeah, I would.
I'm going to have to. There's just, I mean, come on. I've done all the cool stuff. We make movies, Powerline Patrol, Division of Wildlife, Counting the Big Orange Sheep, whatever. I do the cool stuff. I've already proved myself.
Oh,
okay?
really?
Oh, yeah.
Fun. So you had a lot of fun.
I got pictures of me in like Polo and you know, all kinds of stuff. Okay, but we've flown the Dalai Lama. I mean, all kinds of things. I've been doing this all my life, search and rescue.
You're the man.
But I got to stop now. Okay, I got to help people. Come on, cool stuff or saving lives. Well, you know,
but maybe it kind of balances you. Like sometimes it might be nice to get your fingers all greasy and go in there and turn those screws.
Oh, I love doing it. You know, I mean, I'll be talking to everybody here, like, and then I'll run out there and jump in a helicopter and go to the middle of the mountains and go save somebody's butt. You know,
right?
And I like that,
right.
But I can't do it any much longer.
Yeah.
Because.
Can you go back to McDonald's? My training with cancer is nutritional. And so everybody that I work with goes on and I'm really strict about nutrition. So what's your understanding in terms of...
A diet?
What's your understanding in terms... I mean, obviously, this somehow supersedes...
We're putting Karen closer.
Well, no, I'm listening because my ears... You know, I'm a maverick in this area,
okay.
So I have some information too.
I'm going to tell you what I see, okay? Straight what I see. People with cancer have fungus. Fungus eats what? Sugars and carbohydrates, okay? That's what fungus eats. All right.
But if you don't have the fungus...
If you don't have the fungus, you can have... Now, here's the other thing, all right? And I get yelled at for this all the time, but I'm going to tell you straight out, the people I work with because I watched, and this isn't what I see on the internet or that I follow what the statistics say. The people I work with, first of all, over 80% of the people that have cancer that call me are vegetarians.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You bet they are.
Low-fat diet.
You bet. The people that get...
Why do you think vegetarians is carbohydrates?
Can ask me about that later.
Here's what happens. Okay, the people that get better, faster, quicker, they eat red meat. Remember I told you before that what happens is when the radiation goes through your body, it slightly damages the cells and DNA. And what happens? Your cells and DNA excrete a protein. Okay. What happens is when you eat the red meat, okay, your body, the enzymes in your body have been able to break that protein down quicker to get it to the animal, to the cells and DNA. Okay. This is what I see now. This is not what I read. Now, as far as someone who's got cancer, of course diet's important. You don't want to be sitting there feeding the fungus while we're trying to kill it. Okay, in other words,
sugar and low fat will.
Yeah.
Sugar and low fat will, and vegetarianism will feed that fungus day and night.
I mean, all the vegetarian.
Wow.
I mean,
Low fat feeds fungus?
Absolutely. Actually, probably the highest amount of probiotics, B12, enzymes are in healthy grass-fed cows, steers, meat.
What about milk?
Raw milk.
Raw milk.
But never any other kind.
Right.
Because it's pasteurized, homogenized, and casein is not neutralized. It's a dangerous protein.
What's casein?
Casein is a protein in milk. It's actually the protein that is neutralized. It's because we pasteurize and we heat up our dairy product, that becomes almost a poison in our body. The milk protein becomes casein, and it's dangerous.
Okay.
Right. Raw milk is probably one of the healthiest.
foods you can eat.
High fat and high
fat, the highest fat.
Yeah, a lady calls me up and she says, well, she had breast cancer, this one in Utah, and we got rid of it fairly quick. I think it was like a month and a half, all right? A month and a half later, she calls me up and she says, Jay, my hair's falling out. Could it be the radiation? And I says, there's no way, it's impossible. She says, tell me what you're eating, how's your diet? She says, well, the people that have me on this diet have still got me taking 16 different supplements a day. It's financially draining me. And she says they've got me on the green drink. I'm not eating anything but the green drink. You know what the green drink?
That's very dangerous, too.
You bet it is.
Very dangerous.
She was losing her hair because she had no animal protein in her diet. I told her, I says, when we get off the phone, I want you to go eat yourself a double cheeseburger. Because her fungus was out of her body and gone. You know what she said? God bless you, Jay.
Most of us are starving from fat, not sugar, and not vegetables.
That's right.
Very few wisdom tribes even had fruit and vegetables.
Yeah. Her hair came back, by the way.
Raw
yeah.
liver.
So, I mean,
right.
eat a well-rounded diet. I mean, because we got to feed, you got to give your body ammunition or it's not going to fight these things off. And it's not going to repair the damage.
I don't think it's so much fighting. In the case of fungus, if you use sunshine, say, it sort of dries up. You don't really think that it's a fight. It's just a sort of a balancing.
Well, yeah, but okay, well, let's take, well, see, a lot of people make it more complicated than it has to be. Let's take two examples here. I was sitting here, I was in Branson, Missouri, at a medical convention. Doctor raises his hand in back. One of those guys, you know, they're ultra scientific, you know, that always slam me with 1,000 questions, you know. Oh, I love those guys. They're usually my best customers later on. Guy says, Jay says, can't you take the people that have the cancer rates of people at higher elevations to get more radiation from the sun compared to the people at lower elevations, sea level, to see what their cancer rates are, and that would justify what you're saying. I looked at him and everybody's looking at him and says, no, I can't do that. You know why? That's already been done. That's been done so many times, it's boring. I said, I'm not going to, like I said, it's already been done, and I'm not going to spend 5 years irradiating 30 mice to find out they live longer and healthier when I got a man laying in a hospital bed praying for an answer. I ain't going to do it. You know? And I says, that doesn't work anyway. The radiation you get difference between higher elevation and sea level isn't enough to cure a common cold. Okay. In other words, they have a higher. because we have more mold and fungus at sea level than we have at a higher altitude.
More moisture, that's right. So that's why people feel
that's why
better when they go to the
Hawaii
mountains.
to help people, because it's muggier mold and buildings and stuff.
Right, right.
But why do they have a higher MS rate at a higher elevation than they have at sea level? There's one that's pretty simple. Yeast. Higher elevation multiplies quicker. It's less dense. All right, that's why they have a higher MS rate at a higher. It's right in front of them. They don't see it. Okay, they don't see it. But
what about Alzheimer's?
Just a second. You're saying at sea level you'll have less candida than you will in the mountains?
You bet.
But you're going to have more cancer at sea level.
Right. Because of the mold and fungus that's at sea level compared to high altitude. Has a harder time living at a higher altitude. Okay. Alzheimer's. What happens is it works good with people with Alzheimer's. You can stop it once, but the problem is that I've seen is because you could have someone with them all the time to use it. They don't use it, or they'll lose their stuff, their stones. Seriously.
They forget.
Yeah, they forget to use it.
So for Alzheimer's, how do you use it? Do you actually put it on your head?
I want them to put one of those gray stones at the base of their neck.
And wear it all the time?
You bet.
If you don't know where exactly it is, what do you do?
Okay, here's what you do.
If you have pain someplace, or maybe you have it all over.
Right.
How do you use it then?
What I want you to do is I'd have you sleep on a mud pack in the middle of your back.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to end up going through your whole body anyway. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you use, if you have pain, I've actually had people who have had brain cancer use nothing but this green stone, okay? It's a semi-precious gemstone. Only place it's been found in this mixture is in the old King Solomon mines in Israel, okay? They call it elat stone. It's elat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mixture of chrysocolla, turquoise, and malachite. The only difference is this one here has more silver in it. Silver is a natural antibiotic anyway.
But what's radiating? I thought there was a radiation.
There's thorium in one of the elements in here.
Oh.
See, even though it's like turquoise or chrysocolla or malachite, they're all a copper stone. See, there's copper in it, okay? So the thorium in it is what makes it slightly radioactive. But now, here's the great thing about this stone. It's held together with silica, which is quartz, okay? And the quartz sometimes it can either be piezoelectric or pyroelectric. Piezoelectric is if you